Okay, so I have a few things. First, this board has made it very clear to the teachers, administration, students, and the entire community that we are an open and transparent board. And we appreciate people coming to talk during public comments like you and Abigail, who just graduated last year. That is very important to us. And we need to get that word out there that we're all ears. And we don't want anybody to think that if they come and they say something, that there's going to be a repercussion. Like, we can't fix what we don't acknowledge. And if someone doesn't communicate what's going on, then we can't help. So I think that that's very important. I appreciate all your words and, taking the time. I've been in your seat where I've deciphered word for word, taken the time to communicate. So I definitely appreciate what you're doing. At the heels of what Lori said, Abby is a wonderful, wonderful young lady. She is actually my employee. She's been working with me at QuickBank for the last 3 years, and she came to me and was very upset about her sister, and I encouraged her to come to the board. And I didn't think that she was going to come because 3 years ago when she started working with me, she had a really hard time with public speaking, and she did amazing tonight. So I'm glad that you highlighted some of her points. Her family is a very nice family, but they are going through some struggles. And I just have a few things that I think that as a group we need to look at. So Dr. Schmingel, you addressed several points in our efforts to work towards, controlling and curtailing the drug problem within the school district. You talked about the vaping cessation program, the student education, community town halls, vape sensors, which we're still trying to finish that up. Texting tips. Have we gotten any students to text?
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. So that's working. And the whole pass. One of the things that I think we're missing, and I put a lot of thought into this, is vigilance. And I think with this particular story, and I think Abby got a little bit nervous, her sister is able to walk the hallways. They have cryptic language on the Chromebooks. Lori, you know this. They have cryptic language in the Chromebooks, and they're sending messages because the cell phones have been restricted. You've got all the colors, and they are making deals via Chromebooks, which I think we need to get Jeff to start looking into. And they are selling drugs in the hallway. So I know that in the spirit of improving our supervision, we had talked about at the beginning of the year about hiring some extra aides in the hallway. Pete is a phenomenal guy, but he's only one. But the vigilance and the supervision that needs to go on in the hallway is very, very key. And I think we're missing that key component. Some teacher had brought up to me the suggestion of maybe closing some bathrooms during certain periods so that you limit access to those areas, because what's going on so this little girl is carrying like a makeup bag and they're slipping things in the hallway. I had a mom who came into my office and she has custody of her niece. And she's the one that advised me about the cryptic language in the Chromebooks. And she was carrying a makeup bag. And she left her makeup bag at home by accident. And she opened it up and she had every paraphernalia you can imagine. I really think that it's time that we start to look at, I had mentioned this before to some of you. I went to a Pitbull concert. I walked through the metal detectors. And the lady had 2 Ziploc bags full of vapes. They were just going in your purse and taking it out. I don't know why we wouldn't be able to do that here. And yes, people find creative ways of hiding things, but it will at some point and at some level cause some deterrence. We really need to start being more vigilant. We really need to start being provide more of a supervisory role in making these kids think that we are on top of everything, because they're very creative. As soon as we come up with one tactic, they're coming up with another one. So, I've talked about, putting metal detectors. I think we need to address that. It's 2023. I graduated high school in 1983 and I had to go through a metal detector. We're in a different world and a different time. And at the end of the day, like Lori said, we have to address every single kid, and we're missing a lot of kids. So I wanted to put that out there for us to think as a group. I had another technical question for, Tina. What is our current, paid COVID policy? So the state had issued that all employees, because I'm dealing with this in my office now, so I just want to know what the school district is doing. So what are we doing currently for paid leave for COVID?
There's no more paid leave per se. We had a legal opinion this summer. So technically you're offered, if you have 3 instances of COVID, you're remunerated for that. That was the previous, 10 days per, and it was 14 at the beginning, so that counts towards the 30 as well. However, staff can submit, a doctor's COVID test and the affirmation from the New York State Department of Health. And the district, and the district makes decisions on a case-by-case basis. So that's what we were advised to do by legal.
Okay.
In the summer, I checked out that.
So I would suggest that we go back to legal, because I did a very quick cursory review, because I'm dealing with this in my office. And as of August 23rd of 2023, which was the latter part of the summer, according to New York State, employers are still supposed to be covering COVID illness for family members, individual members, or a family member that is ill and, like an elderly parent or something of the sort. So I think we need to go back, because the last thing we want to do is not provide that and then someone come back at us. Because I looked at that today on purpose, and that's what I came up with. So I think that we really need to revisit that for our group of people. And that's it. That's it. Yes, honey. Yes.